Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? A little bit of a bittersweet day as we learned the New Orleans Saints, in advance of Tuesday's trade deadline, did in fact deal Marshon Lattimore to the Washington Commanders. I guess once and for all, we can put to bed the Marshon Lattimore trade rumors. I have a very clear feeling about this, as I've stated for several weeks now. This was essential. This was essential for two primary reasons. Number one, it is an acknowledgement by the organization that you are not a contender. When you are trading a Pro Bowl cornerback at the deadline to get draft picks, you are acknowledging we are not a contending team. And make no mistake about it, the Saints are not a contending team, and they haven't been one for a while. We've all known it. It just took the New Orleans Saints brass till now to actually accept it and acknowledge it. That's number one. Number two, you are getting younger and less expensive. You know, Mickey Loomis knew this offseason that this was a possibility. For as much as we joked about almost daily the Marshon Lattimore trade rumors, Muse and I had a bit like anytime, hey man, got something for this segment? We go, Marshon Lattimore trade rumors? It's just like a recurring bit that he and I had both on air and off.
Then we'd always find something completely different to talk about.
It never came up.
Yard sailed the entire segment.
We knew we'd have another day to do it. This was Mickey Loomis in January, by the way, when they restructured Marshon Lattimore's contract. Remember this?
What's the thinking behind the timing of reworking Marshon Lattimore's bonus, like while the season was still going on, and making it an option bonus? Like, I mean, obviously some of those come
it's just cap management. You know, I don't want to get into the details of it.
But there wasn't a purpose to be like that.
Yeah, there's a purpose. I'm not going to tell you what the purpose is.
Considering trading?
It's just cap. It's just cap management. That's what it is.
No, you were structuring his deal so that you could trade him in the future, which now you've done. In April, post-draft, said he was confident that Lattimore would be on the roster. He was asked point blank, is Lattimore tradable? Here's what he said.
Everybody's tradable. You know, just depends on, you know, the offer that you get, right? And yet it's not very common. I'm not one who likes to do a lot of trades. You know, I don't like trading players that have been contributors for us. I like, you know, maximizing our roster with the guys we got. But we've made trades before, so.
He's right. He doesn't like to do, no. He likes to do trades. He don't like to trade his guys. They did it once recently, and that was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. In 2022, at the deadline, they traded Chauncey to the Eagles. That was a gut punch. Because that's the guys have said forever. You hate him when he's on the other team, but you love him when he's on your team. But in 2021, Saints added Bradley Roby from the Texans. 2020, Saints added Quan Alexander from the Niners. 2019, Saints added Kiko Alonso from Miami. 2018, Saints added Eli Apple from the Giants. We can go on. Oh, Mickey likes to do trades. He just wants to acquire players. He doesn't want to trade his players for assets because, as we said, that is an acknowledgement that you are not a contender. The Saints have largely been buyers and not sellers. This was an acknowledgement you are not a contender. You and I have talked about it forever. We knew this. But when you're trading a four-time Pro Bowl cornerback, a premier position, a former first-round pick, when you're trading him, that is an acknowledgement you're not winning with him. You're not winning with anybody at this point. That's one. Number two, as I mentioned, cheaper and younger. Marshon Lattimore, in trading him, This helps your cap for next year. Lattimore's $16 million base salary and his $2 million bonus come off the books for 2025. So just like that, in trading Marshon Lattimore, you just gave yourself tremendous cap relief. Now you're still $50 million over the cap. We'll look at whenever all the terms of this and everything are done, we'll look at how it all lands. But you just purged a $16 million base and a $2 million bonus off your books. And you know what you didn't have to do? You didn't have to do your cockamamie restructure scheme, getting Kai Harley over there to sit there and rework the deal to kick the can down the road. To when Lattimore's a 32-year-old corner, not even on your team, and you still got dead money on the books. You saved yourself money and you got assets. So now, instead of paying Marshon Lattimore to be on a team that ain't winning nothing, you got 3 draft picks. Really, it's a net of 2 because the way the deal worked out is the Saints send Lattimore and a 5 to Washington in exchange for a 3, a 4, and a 5. So you got 3 picks, but you sent Lattimore and a pick. So the 5th rounder was basically a pick swap. These are all 2025 picks of this coming draft. So essentially it was a pick swap in round 5, and you got their 3 and 4 and sent them Lattimore. So you got what will be the lesser of the 5s, because if Washington keeps winning, their pick is going to be at the end of all these rounds. Now that's one of the negatives of this deal. Yeah, you got a 3, but it's going to be at the end of round 3. Yeah, you got a 4, but it's going to be at the end of round 4. And remember, the 5 you sent to them is going to be at the beginning of round 5. And you took their 5 instead. So really what you gained, you netted 2 picks. But really the value here is the late 3rd rounder. Because their late 4 is the equivalent to your early 5. And then you got their late 5. So effectively, as you look at it, that's kind of the deal you did. You get the late 3 and the late 5. As a net is probably a good way to say it. But you will now have inexpensive rookie contracts on your books instead of Marshon Lattimore's very expensive contract on the books, and you don't have to rework a deal. Listen, firing Dennis Allen and trading Marshon Lattimore, these are not guarantees that you will be a contender. Firing Dennis Allen and assuring that you're going to get new leadership, trading Marshon Lattimore to Washington, getting a couple of picks, those are not guarantees that you're going to be great again. But retaining Dennis Allen and paying and overpaying an aging roster are certainly guarantees you were not going to be a contender again. So if nothing else, by firing Dennis Allen and trading Marshon Lattimore, the Saints have made 2 very declarative statements that they are at least moving in the direction of a change in the organization to give themselves a chance to be a contender again. Now, who you hire matters. What you do with these picks matters. If you go get a whole lot of Stanley, Jean-Baptiste, Trevor Penning, it ain't going to go great for you. But if you find Trey Hendrickson in round 3 or Alvin Kamara in round 3, if you get Marcus Williams in round 2, now you're looking at a team that's got young starting caliber players. You got to go hit in the draft. You got to hire a good coach. But the type of conversation we're having today is dramatically different than what we were having on Friday. You at least have given yourself a shot to move in the right direction. And until you fired Dennis Allen and had an acknowledgement from your organization that what you were doing wasn't working, you had no shot of ever being good again. The other part of this, of course, is Marshon Lattimore's legacy, and that needs to be discussed, and we'll have plenty of time to do it. But he was part of arguably the greatest Saints draft class ever. There's really 2. It's the class from 1981 with Ricky Jackson in it, and then this one from 2017 are the 2 greatest draft classes in Saints history. Lattimore was the first pick of that class. Ramczyk came along, Marcus Williams, Trey Hendrickson, Alvin Kamara, an incredible class. And it was a class that helped push the Saints back into contention there in 17, 18, 19, 20. And now that window's closed. And the only player left from that draft class is Alvin Kamara. And quite honestly, if Kamara was a little more selfish and went to actually go chase a winner, he wouldn't have signed the deal he did a couple of weeks ago. And the Saints would have traded him today as well. But now you have an expensive veteran player in Alvin Kamara, who's the lone remainder of that landmark class of 2017. A class that won a lot of games, made the playoffs, but never won the last game. And that'll be part of their legacy. But the 2017 Defensive Rookie of the Year, a 4-time Pro Bowler, 7+ seasons with the Saints. He will be a Saints Hall of Famer one day. That is absolutely deserved, and that day will come for Marshon Lattimore. But in the meantime, here's hoping better days come for Marshon Lattimore in Washington. Maybe he can get there with Jaden Daniels, go win himself a championship, get himself a ring. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.